At the moment, I keep seeing jungle pop up on my timeline. It's a type of music that was really popular in the 90s and early 2000s, kind of similar to drum and bass. You might be familiar with it if you've heard it in the background of old video games. It mainly consists of a sped up drum break, sometimes a very ambient melody, and a dub sounding bass. I've got tons of comments requesting to make this style of music next. I've binged a bunch of YouTube tutorials, and so today I'm gonna be making jungle music for the first time. Oh, let's get into it. All right, so for this jungle track, I wanna make something that sounds very ambient, something very ethereal. I don't know how you say that word, but something that's like very airy. So let's start this off with 166 BPM. It's kind of like a nice sweet spot for jungle. And then I'm gonna open up a synth. Let's just put this chord a bit close, a bit earlier. I like that. It's a bit strange of a progression, but I'm gonna run with that. And then I'm just gonna copy that down, and I wanna layer that sound with another sound from this synth because there's some really cool presets in here. I slapped a doubler on it just to widen it, but maybe up an octave. Yeah, it doesn't clash as much now, and that sounds really cool with the fluttery effect. Maybe even just one more time, let's layer that, see what we can find. Nice. Let's add some like counter melodies and stuff to it now. So I'm gonna just drag this one down. I really like this sound that we got. Let's get rid of all these bass notes. I don't think we're gonna need it. Everything is just sounding like nice and spacey and alien, which is the exact vibe that I'm trying to go for. And honestly, I'm just kind of letting the VSTs do the work. Let's add in another layer. I'm gonna throw some elements on here. It's a bit of that wind. I love the reverb in this. I've pulled up this key from Electro X, super underrated plugin. And I got an idea for like a really skippy kind of melody. And then there's this really cool plugin that is stock within Logic. It's called Ring Shifter. Like a modulation kind of effect. And I want to put some echo on it as well. That's so cool. So I've turned all the melody into an audio file, because I like to just work like that. It makes things a little bit easier. And then something that I learned very recently as well is on Logic, they got this little H button. And once you toggle that, it brings up this section here. You can just literally click all the H's, and what it's gonna do is just hide all those tracks. So it just neatens up your project. So now we're just straight onto the sample. All right, let's mess around with this. I might even just change the pitch. Maybe just one up. I think that sounds quite nice. So what I've gone ahead and done, I've chopped up the melody into how I would structure it, like an intro, then the drum breaks will come in. So for the intro part, it's a bit more chill, then it just gets crazier as we progress. I want to add a bass to it. We're going to start with more like a sub bass. And then on that, I don't want it to be like so bright, so I'm just gonna put a low pass on it. When it comes to jungle drums, you wanna use breakbeats, like jungle breakbeats. There's tons on the internet. I downloaded so many different packs just by Googling them. I think I even got a pack from another YouTuber called Chris the Scientist, which was sick. So let's just go through a few. The most common is the aim and break. So I think I'm gonna go with this one here. That's like a nice little intro one right there. First things first, I'm just gonna put it to my BPM. I wanna make it a bit unique. Like the bounce is cool, but how can we make this our own? All right, fully chopped it up. That took a while, man. But this is like the pattern that I like now. So for the intro, we got this, which sounds really nice. But then I want it to drop into like some crazier drums as well. So when it comes to the main section, I'm actually gonna add in another loop. Let's try and find an amen break. Yeah, this one sounds nice. It's got the kick in there. I love the sounds in that. Maybe let's put in the kick here. You see, the thing with this is literally just a lot of like trial and error, chopping and putting together until you find the pattern that you like. All right, that took me a little while, but I think I'm cool with this pattern. So between both of those, you've got this now. That's slapping. Let's put bass on it, and I'm gonna use an 808. So for the bass, I actually want it to come in very gradually, so I'm just gonna add the automation, just curve it in. As we progress the intro, the bass will get louder and then fully come in. I finished up the track. This one has got a nice, cool vibe to it. Let's check it out. Vibey. Hey. When that 808 comes in, yeah, that is such a good vibe. I like that. Yo, just before we get into the next beat, I wanted to announce that I'm going to be dropping my first single ever as an artist, my first actual official single, and it's going to be dropping on January the 15th. It's called Your Love. Something different that you've seen from me before, more like a deep house track, but I'm super excited to finally put it out. There's a link in the description. If you can go ahead and please pre-save that, because that really helps. And I'm going to be dropping my EP as a follow-up to this track very soon. It's going to be called If Not Now, Then When. It's going to be a vibe. Let's get back to it. For this next track, I want to remix a song. This is probably one of my favorite songs ever. Definitely my favorite Drake song of all time is Drake Over My Dead Body. I just feel like with some jungle drums underneath this one is gonna slap. This time I'm gonna start with the drums rather than the melody. So let's go ahead and pick a drum break. I like that one. That one's got loads of good energy. But instead of chopping it like I did last time, like very manually, what I'm gonna do is open up Serato sample and throw it in there. So now on my keyboard, I got them all in now. There's 2 different variations and it just slightly changes in the pattern. This way it gets a little bit more crazier. So now what I'm gonna do is just bounce these as an audio file, and then I really just wanna tighten up the sound because I'm gonna use this more as like the highs. There's this really good plugin by Native Instruments and it's called Transient Master. And it just allows you to tighten up the drums a little bit more. And I'm also gonna high pass it, so it's just mainly the highs. Now that I've separated out like the highs and the lows, I still need to add back in the kick and the snare. I've opened up Quick Sampler, I've added in a different amen break, this one right here. I really like the kick and the snare from that. But I've put it in here so I could like really separate the sounds out. So we got snares, we got the kicks and stuff. And we can just repeat that over again. I want to add in some tambourines just to thicken this up. I'm just going to duplicate this one down and just add in like another tambourine. I just want like a tiny amount of reverb. All right, the drum loops come in together nicely, but we do need to add in a kick. So I've got the kick from the Amen Break Classic. That's the one that we're using from the snare. So I'm thinking like boom, ka boom. Banging. Now before we can go ahead and actually add a bass on, I do need to put in a melody now. So for now, let's just mute all the drums. We'll come back to that. So I've got the tracks separated out just using some AI. We've got the vocals and we've got the melody. I'm not gonna actually use any of Drake's vocals in this, so let's just cut that. I think it would actually sound nicer, maybe like one up or one down. Oh man, yeah, that's just way better. So that will be like the intro, I think. We don't need the drums, so repeat that over. And then the vocals will come in. For the intro, maybe we can have just like the high parts. All right, let's put in the 808s now. Boom, ba ba bum. So that's like jumping now, nice. But what I'm gonna do as well is just add in the kickstart, just so it can stand out a little bit more. And let's add a bass to it as well. And we're gonna need to low pass that as well. And I kind of like when the bass kind of gradually goes in with these kind of beats. So let's just add that automation in. So it just gradually gets louder. I finished up the track and I've added a few more things, but the main thing I've added was just like a lot of different automations. So for example, for the melody, we've got some parts that come on with a low pass filter, then it cuts off, and just volume automations. It took me a little while to do, but I think this one sounds vibey. We've also got some sweeps in there. It's always good to add sweeps just to like build up and then cut it off. Just builds up a little bit of tension. Let's give this one a play. And then with the tension, and then here you can hear with the drums, like it's filtering in. Man, this one's vibey. This one is actually fire. I really like this one. I'm gonna drop this one on SoundCloud, so if you want to take a listen to the full thing, the link is going to be in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see me make another genre, try something new, then leave a comment below. Let me know what genre I should do next, and also check out this playlist right here where I've made other genres like Brazilian funk, amapiano, and tech house for the first time.